Welcome to working with Adobe XD and this very simple portfolio piece based on an iPad size 1024 by 768 just to put some work together. Now you'll notice there are a couple of things. We've got our little hamburger menu here but no menu, and then a series of menus, and then we've got a few pages and one page is longer than the other. Now if I just click on that page, you'll see this is where it finishes, and essentially we're just going to extend it. So let me just show you what's going on here. We've got our portfolio view, and we've got our links, which we're showing, the prototype view, where they go to from each of the pages. So if I click on this, you can see how this links and how the buttons work. And we've also got our share button if you wanted to share it with anybody on the web. Now for the case in point of this one, just going to go from the prototype view, and I'm just going to go and click on the button up the top there, and just to show you how this works and looks. So if I start clicking on that, opening out, we've got the home page, the about page, just got some nice simple transition effects through contact. If I just go back to the work, you'll notice that it extends out here. So I can actually start scrolling, and especially on the work page, you might have a few more images going beyond just the available space there. And then I'll just close back, and all the buttons take you back to the front page, being the portfolio. Now, if I close that, let's just have a quick little bit of a look here. Now, if you want to do things like add in your colors and your assets, etc., you can essentially, at any stage, if I go back to the design view here, just click on any of the colors or graphics that you might want. We've got character styles, so I can click on that and go plus. It adds in my type style there. I'll click on the color, and then on the colors just up here, I can add those colors, and this one, add the colors. So you can start storing all your files up here. Now components we'll get into working with animated type button effects, things like that. Just for the case of putting this together, just going to keep it really, really simple. So let's just go through and build a new site. So I can actually work with graphics down the bottom here. In fact, I might even do that, or actually just go File, New, and set up a new site. Now the beauty of working with this, you can work in so many different ways. I'm essentially just going to come down here holding my space bar and just scroll up a little bit and just click outside of that, and I'm going to come down here, and not the rectangle tool, but down here we have the page icon. So if I click on that, you'll see this contextual menu changes all over here. We can set any sort of custom size you want, or drag a size. So what I want to do down here, just go back to my iPad size. In this case, 768 wide by 1024 deep, and I'll click on that. And if you want to move that, I can just click on back on the pointer tool, just to keep, I want to keep this a little bit separate, and then just drag it down here, and I'm just going to start a new one, and just set it up here. And what I'm going to do is double click on that, and I'm just going to call it next, just so this is the next file. Any name you want is fine, and there we go. So I want to zoom up to get the whole thing, so I'm just going to go Command 3, and I've got that all in the view here. So I have had these colors here, and I can essentially use any colors I want, but what I'm going to do is do a slightly different design at this stage. So I'm going to do a little bit of header icon, and I'm going to click it up here, and there it is, and I can just measure it out. Now what you can do is, when you're putting anything together, if I go back just to the page icon here and click on that page, double click there, we can have layout view, square views. When I go into the layout view here, so if I come back to just the layout, we get these ridges coming across, and we can have different columns and whatever you want, you know, when you're putting your web and helping you space things out. So I might just leave that on just to show you this first one putting together. I'm just going to click back on my button up here, or my header if you will, and I'm just going to get rid of my border color, and I just want a color here. Now what I can do is, if I can come all the way back to this one, of course, and there it is. So because I'm using those colors, but any color you want, really, really simple. Now what I want to also do is put just that same sort of style down here, and what I'm going to do is, I can change all of these grids to fit it, etc., but I might just do mine slightly different this stage. And I'm going to come down here and just work out my structure there. I'm going to bring the corners in just a little bit, and now you can do it all through here, either the left hand, right hand, or all of them like I've got at the moment. get rid of that and go to the fill, and I'm just going to click back on that fill. So there you go with that. Now I'm going to double click back on that page, and what I want is I don't want any view at the moment, just want to get the page like that, and we're going to start putting something together. So now what I want to do is I just want a little bit of a menu here. So just for this first one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take this all the way up to the top like so, and then I'm just going to get my line tool here. I'm just going to see how it lines up. I'm just going to make just a little shift there to make a little hamburger menu. And what I want here is for the border, well, I want to have a border of a little bit wider than that. So I'm going to make it 6. And of course, what I want is a different color there. And great. So I'm going to go back to my pointer tool, and I'm just going to click on that and just option drag down, and everything sort of measures out for you quite nicely. So that looks about 17, and do it again, and 17. So we've got our first menu here and our first page. So that's great. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I want to duplicate this page. So I'm essentially just going to go and click on the menu at the top there. In fact, just click it like so. And in fact, I can control click on that. I just click on that, and then I can just go basically make sure you're on the pointer tool, which would be a lot more helpful, and click on that, and I can just go Command D to duplicate it. So just Command D, and there's our second page, and it's actually giving us a numbering system as well to help. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to increase this menu, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a cross menu on here, and this one I'm going to just close it and just put that up like so. Just a quick cross menu. Oops, make sure you click that and get the exact one there. Oops, that's the wrong side. And just got a cross menu, and it should work out all right. Okay, now if you wanted that to be a non-rigid bracketed end, you can always come down here and we can change that. And maybe in this case, I'm just going to do it. Okay, so what I want is I want to do a transition between these two and bring it back. Now to make my buttons really simple, I'm going to group this because I just, which is Command G, Control G on a PC, and I'm going to group these as well. Just Shift Select and basically just group. So what I want to do is get this transition. Now one thing I'm also going to do is I just want to get some type in here, and I'll call this home just to get things going. And I might just grab that a little bit bigger, so you can actually just grab it like that. That'll bring it out. Now choose any font you want, that'll be fine for what I'm doing. And that's sitting nicely at the moment. I'm just going to copy this one and just go back to this front page. I'm just going to grab my space bar, and I'm just going to paste it in there as well. This Command V, and I'm just going to call this start in this case, just so it makes sense. Okay, now one thing with the home is this could be the work page, but I want to do everything in one go to make it nice and simple. Is what you can do is with the pointer tool, you can double click on the page here, and I'm just going to make this scroll a little bit. So there we are, just going to go scroll. Now let's go back and just measure this up. And I'm just going to hold the space bar there, and just going to go back to the prototype view. Now, depending on when you're putting things together, so if I click on the prototype here, what I want to do is I want to take this to this page now, and I'm going to do a transition, which is just sort of a nice auto animate to get that working. So tap, I'm going to auto animate, and I'm going to make this just a little bit longer so I can really see it and ease in and ease out. Now on this page is when we come in here, we're going to sort of click to have it fixed scrolling as well, which will be behind this bracket here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this one, and then I'm just going to go fix scrolling just up there. Anyway, so this one goes to this page, and this one I want to just take back. And I've also got auto animate, and it's remembering the same things. So let's just go and try that at the moment and just see how that looks. So we'll click up here. There we go, we get that scrolling, and then it goes through. Scrolling, and let's see if I come to the next page here, and you see we've got a fixed layout here. Now what you might notice is that's not quite what I wanted, so if I come back to here again, I'm just going to go back to my design view, and just within the brackets or the graphics here, anything that I want to scroll behind, because I don't want it to go over the top, all I do is come back to my layers, which is just down the bottom here. We'll click on layers, and you'll see this one is, which is the banner, maybe I should name that. And I want the banner to be higher than anything, even the type here. So I'm going to take the banner up, not higher than the group, because that's a grouped object, but also I want the type to come down here as well. So let's just go and have a look at that. So if I go through and just play that now, and oops, there it is. It's working great. Now it's going behind. Still got, oops, confusing there. So that's working all right, but I want that to be locked in place as well. So let's go through and lock this in place. So I'm in design view at the moment. If I click on that, you can essentially see this little button that comes up here, fix position when scrolling, and let's just go and have a look at that now. Okay, now I could also fix this position as well, which it sort of is because I've already done it the other way. There's actually two ways to do it. Okay, so let's just go and have a look at the prototype view at the moment, and if I just go into the next page, and oops, now I'm on the wrong file here because I did it at the same place. So what do? How do you get out of that? Well, if I just scroll over here, and when you go into the prototype view, you just click that to enable that as where you want to start from. So nice and simple. So let's just go through and play that once more. Click that, click back, scrolls out there, and we can just animate it like so. So the only thing that you might want when you're putting these together, if I click back here, go to the design view, is we just want to put out our menu here. So if I'm just going to go for the different menus, I'll just put this one on, let's see, home, or in this case, yes, I'm on home at this stage. And if I click back onto here, I'm just going to make that nice and small. Just line that up like so. I think I'm going to change the fill color just to something a little bit nicer. That'll do. And I'm going to hold my option key and just start scrolling these out like so. We're going to have a few more pages, of course. I'm not going to do all of them. And just make sure we get that all layered up there. And of course, this would be the work page or the about page. I'll just do one just to get this going. And we've got our pages which we want our button. Now this home page, in fact, let's just do an about page, just make it nice and simple. So I'm just going to click on this one, just make sure I'm on the pointer tool. There you go, and just click on that to highlight it. Command D once more, Command D. This one I'm going to bring up here. I no longer want that to be scrolling. So let's make sure I've got that all set. Just to reduce it down, so it's better. And I'm just going to take this back to line it up. That's great. And it's even the type. Just take that back there, and I'll just call that about. And that's great. So now I'm just going to go from the first few pages here. So I'm going to go from the about, go into the prototype view, and just take that through to there. And this is where I might auto animate. No, I might just try a transition. And let's see, no, we don't need to worry about the scrolling on this one. So ease in, ease out, that'll be great. So here's our transition, ease in, ease out. Let's see, anything else I want to do. No, that will be fine. And Then I'm going to go from the home here, and I'm just going to take this back to the page here. So transition, and we're just on tap as well. And let's just go and have a look and see how that works. So I'll go back to just playing it, and home, about, oops, now let me see if I'm just making sure I'm in the right one to begin with. So yes, I am. So I'll just go and play that one there, and see. Great. And there's the about, and there's the home, and there it takes it back to the start. So that's how you put it together in a nice simple way. One final thing I'm just going to show you is when you start putting your graphics together, maybe the home one here, and I might just go and make sure I'm back in design view, and I'm just going to drag that down a little bit further. Let's say if it was the work page there. So all I want to do is just drag out some shapes here, and there's going to be my work, etc. And I'm just going to drag in any image right from my desktop and drag it straight in there. And there we go, and we can even curve it in if we want as well. So you can do that as many graphics as you want. Now there's one other thing you can play with, which is the repeat grid, and that can start repeating it, and you can actually move these things as well, and we can see how we can move that and space it at the same time. And I'll just take that a little bit further, and there we go. Okay, so basically, just to finally finish off, just go back to my prototype view once more. Just make sure I'm in prototype. We start with that home page, not to confuse it because I've got a whole lot of files. There it is, the work page, and there you go. Oops, now we did need to just lock that menu, and we can click on that and we can just go lock. See if I'll just click through here, click through there. Really only needs to be locked on this particular one. So that's what I'll do just to finish off, and we're basically good to go. So click on all of these ones. So I want them to be locked in and fix when scrolling. There you go, and it will stay locked like all the rest. So thanks for watching, and that's a quick way of putting it together.